sure. All right, so let's get this in full screen. Let it come for a sec. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Larry David Bonaparte, and I am the creator of Button Check. So, like Melee said, pretty much what this is supposed to be is the training home of the next generation of athletes. To put it very simple, the problem that we're solving is the lack of public resources in New Jersey that allow players/teams to properly grow and understand the complex nature of esports. For those who aren't in the loop, what esports is pretty much electronic gaming competitive scenes or competitive tournaments where people of high skill level compete with each other to see who can be the best among them. So things like, if you ever heard like a game like Fortnite or Apex or something of that similar nature, those games are where people compete those games are where people compete very highly and go for very high cash prizes. But that's pretty much in summary what esports is. But the problem we're going back to is not everyone can afford these high quality setups that are required to play these games at the best level. So what this space is meant to create is an area where they can do so. So our solution, we will provide a high quality place for people to come in and play. We will provide coaches to help streamline the process of positive growth while keeping the program engaging and efficient if they so desire to use it. So the target market that we're mainly going after are gamers, esports players, high school students, college students, and families with children. I'll go over briefly each of them. There's off the top of my head, the statistics are right. There's 164 million gamers out there that would be interested in our product pretty much, because we cover a wide variety of range of games that they can play. Because even if you aren't specifically looking to be competitive, the place that we're creating is just, you can also come in and just hang out. You can just pay to use our services, to use our technology, and what so forth. So we actually cater to a large audience when it comes to them. Esports players, like I mentioned before, people who are interested in trying to get branded, people who are interested in just trying to practice. High school students, because esports is something that is very curated to younger demographic. They're actually, if I remember off the top of my head, there's a 16-year-old player that won over $100 million just for winning a solo Fortnite Cup. So there are a lot of very younger kids trying to get into this at a very young age. College students as well. There are plenty of college teams. Kane actually is in the process of creating an esports club, which I am the vice president of. So it does have a market for that as well as families with children, because sometimes kids do like to just play games, and I've seen plenty of parents bring in their kids to another esports center in the past. So the competitive competitors that we have is one, Pro Guides, because it is a similar coaching service to what we will provide. That I'll go in future detail in a second. Discord, which is a free discussing app that gamers usually use to co-op strategies, kind of talk about things and stuff like that, and it is a free service. Freelance coaches, which are just random coaches that are very pronounced in the scene, depending on what game they're talking about or whichever. And also Gamers Lab, which is another service that's similar to that. One that's not here for some reason is Helix Gaming Center, which is actually another gaming center that's only in New Jersey. It's in North Bergen at the moment, and that's another competitor as it'd be a direct competition to us. So pretty much the main things that we have is premium service, which is pretty much premium streamlined coaching for our brand. For Helix, comparatively, we would be in a much better location, presumably the downtown area, which would be better for us. And also, compared to Discord and Gamers Lab, we curate information and make it a lot more streamlined. So the funding needed would be $250,000. The main use of this money would be pretty much for one, wiggle room for the first year, because I do know that once the business starts, it will need time to kind of grow and expand so it can really reach the market and be known. But it'll also be used to get plenty of monitor set up so we can credit to a lot of people, as well as provide a marketing and other funding that we may need just in case, just to give us some wiggle room. The channels that we will have will pretty much be from using our equipment. It would be per hour based. So it would be $5. So say for an hour, you pay $5. For 2 hours, you pay 10. And for 3 hours, you pay 15. The daily activities. So that's also included in that, as well as coaching. Tournaments, which would make a large pool because we charge people for $1 the entry fee, but also the venue fee. So even if we just say get say 10, 20 people, that's an extra money and income coming in, and we have multiple different tournaments that we're going to be holding. High school and college teams can use our space as a way to work because they can work online, but a lot of the more high quality teams do come in person and actually strategize and kind of break everything down through the gameplay in a physical setting. So we'll allow them to rent out the space for a slightly cheaper price. And as well as coaching, which would be pretty much a service on top that is given for those who want it. So as an example, say if you're paying $5 an hour to use the equipment, but you also want to get a coaching because you say you're struggling with something, that would be an extra service fee on top of that. Would say like for now it would be $15. So instead of 5, it would be 20. Just as an example, the marketing activities that we mainly use would be social media advertisement. The biggest ones we use would either be to Instagram/TikTok, because I feel like that's sort of what the younger generation is using a lot more now, which is the main demographic we want to hit. Things like Twitter and Facebook can be useful, but we will mainly focus on those two social medias. Posters in high school and college campuses would also be great to kind of advertise for us to come in. Primarily would be New Jersey high schools and colleges, obviously, just to kind of keep our target market where we want it to be. User-generated content would be something that we would also try to promote, as in we are fixated on just teaching people how to progress and whatever. There are a lot of companies that are actually doing this right now, and I would love to tap into that market as our bottom sales funnel, just to kind of get people to be interested. And it also works as a marketing tool. Tournament advertisers and also free consultations are also something we'll provide as well. Free consultations, because sometimes people are a little not sure about coaches because they never had a coach before or have been experienced to it. So we'd be willing to give free consultation and kind of give them that taste to see if they want to continue using their service. The financial projections are pretty much starting in 2021. So it would start fairly low because, like I said, a lot of the money would be used to get the equipment. But the beautiful thing about buying the equipment is that a lot of this will last for years. So besides a couple upgrades here and there, you won't be buying the full setup, which is a lot higher price when you first get everything together. But it'll gradually increase as the years goes on, which I think the end profit, the screen's kind of covering it, the end profit would be 4,010K. So some of the key roles that are pretty much associated with the company will be me as the founder/general manager. Gabe would be the afternoon manager, morning and night team, as well as Twitch team, which is the user-generated content that I mentioned before that will also really start bringing and allow us to engage with our audience. So the partnerships and roles that I would love to have would be Blizzard, as they're really big on the esports. They support their players. They give them tons of money to just play their game. SIPF, which is a clothing brand, which is also very highly tied to gamers and also a lot of other things as well. And G Fuel, which is pretty much energy drink, but it's mainly associated with gamers as their main target demographic. So something like that or similar to them would be great, because we want to provide food and drinks at our gaming location. So we would love to provide that. So the biggest thing about what now? So what do I need help with? I need help with a couple things, like building a network and a team. But the biggest thing that I would say I need help with is getting investors to kind of get into the project. Because remember before, it does have a bit of a high, 250K as a starting price. I'm willing to go lower, but more money, the better to allocate what we need. But definitely just getting and talk with investors and just kind of making progress towards that is the biggest thing I need help with. And with that, that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, thank you, Larry. Well done. Well done. With that, let me just open the floor to the audience for ideas, advice, or possibly even help in terms of helping you understand how you might